Here's a fly ball out towards center field. This one's going back, and this one is gone! Taylor gets this one out towards center field to the short porch, and it's a grand slam! That's a floater, out to short. And it's booted off the shortstop's glove! Just like we drew it from Hollywood. Caladros, the 3-2. Swing and a miss! And the Audubon Green Wave have upset the Kingsway Dragons! Grant Fournier, two-run shot to right. From Haupt Field, the home of the Clippers, we've got Friday Night Lights in South Jersey, Group 1 football action between two teams that we've covered a heck of a lot this season already. The second time that we've seen these two, the Overbrook Rams and the Clayton Clippers, in a battle between two teams over 500 looking to continue their success in this season. I'm Dan Wilkins. I'll be joined by Ben Wilden on the call today and on the production, as we've got a small crew tonight, but in a game that is certainly not small for the implications here in this midseason out-of-division matchup. Clayton, an unbeaten 4-0 in the WJFL Royal Division. Their one loss, unfortunately, was one that we covered. It was a 27-20 loss to Collingswood back on August the 30th, and we'll shut this door to make the lighting a little bit better for us up here in the booth. But otherwise, Haupt Field, one of my favorite venues to go to, and I'll tell you this, for Clayton, this is going to be a big game. They've won 4 straight, and they haven't lost in the month of September. Now that we fade over into October, things could be a little bit different. Obviously, Gabriel Hill and Deron Williams, the two rushing cores for a very rush-heavy Clayton team, are going to be a big factor to watch tonight. They beat Mastery Camden via forfeit in their second game of the year, 2-0, and then they had back-to-back shutouts, 48-0 over Haddon Township, 40-0 over Gloucester Catholic. Their biggest test was Gateway last week, 38-22. But for Overbrook, we saw them in a resilient 22-21 win over Pennsville last Friday. They were down 21-0 in the first quarter, and then they were somehow able to flip it around and somehow, some way, came all the way back to take the lead by, I believe it was midway through the third quarter, and they won the game. But Frank Wilczynski is a veteran head coach, somebody who knows what he's doing, and somebody who knows how to get out of a hole. This year alone, they beat Cinnaminson 14-0 at home, and their they have 2 losses, one to Collingswood, one to Paulsboro, an unbeaten Paulsboro at 5-0 this year. I'll tell you this, for Overbrook, they have beaten some very good teams. Again, they've beaten Pennsville, they've beaten Florence, they beat Cinnaminson at home to open up the year, and their 2 losses are to 2 very respectable teams, like Collingswood, who's got a huge matchup tonight, versus Sterling, another 5-0 team. But also, this is another team that will not pass the ball too much. They may do it more than Clayton with Tariq Moore. However, they're definitely going to do it more than Clayton because that is a very low bar to set. We'll be right back. We've got introductions, the national anthem, and much more here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting right after this.
Singing of our national anthem by Clayton's own select choir.
presenting of arms by the Clayton JROTC, and then the national anthem by the Clayton Select Choir. Excellent performances on both sides between two teams that are in it to win it here in 2025. Clayton, of course, a team that we'll be covering on Thanksgiving Day as a part of the 100th Pittman-Clayton rivalry. It'll be right here at Haupt Field. It'll be our second of two games there this year. And as it's 7 o'clock sharp, if you remember, this matchup last year did not have a winner, nor did it have a loser. It was a 42-42 tie because of triple overtime. Once you have 3 overtimes in New Jersey, you do not get any more, which means that, well, once it's over, it's over. And when we talk about what Overbrook and Clayton are wanting to do to win, both of these teams are looking to win because guess what? The last time they played, neither of them came out on top. Clayton finished 5-4-1 last year. Again, that one tie coming versus Overbrook. And they had a bit of a back-and-forth year, including a 7-0 loss to Pittman on Thanksgiving. That was over at Davis Field. Funny enough, it's the furthest Thanksgiving rivalry in terms of how far the visiting school has to travel to the home school. They're about 15 minutes apart from each other, right down 47 Delsey Drive. All right, from Haupt Field, it's 48 minutes of South Jersey Group 1 football. They're going to squib it on the ground. We'll see if they got 10 yards out of it. Is that enough? John Chamberlain thinks it's enough, and it's Clayton ball. How about that? They pick up a huge break as that looked like that was Deron Williams on the kick, who ends up getting it the necessary 10 yards and then some to pick up a first down, and the Clippers surprise everybody to open up the ball game.
Yeah, Dan, I think that was a big momentum switch for the Clippers. They're gonna need a lot of that's an early momentum.
Early momentum shift, definitely. Yeah. I mean, that was just the first play of the game, and Clayton already putting himself up front early. Here comes a rush. They send it over to Williams. Rather, that's Quaddy Walls out to the right side. He'll get about 7 or 8 yards that time. He will get it up to the 41 as the play started at midfield. Let's take a look at that player profile for Clayton's quarterback, Gabriel Hill. Now, he's not much of a passer, and you could see that just in the numbers alone. 4 for 10 this year. He's only attempted 10 passes all season. He does have 2 passing touchdowns, but he does have more in the rushing department. He has 225 rushing yards, which is second on the team, short of Darren Williams. He's also got 4 touchdowns on his season. And last week versus Gateway picked up 3 rushing touchdowns in a 38-22 win. That was the 4th win in a row for the Clippers that sent them the 4-1 on the season. It's 2nd and 3 from the 42. They get another handful of yards that time. And again, you're going to see Clayton run this ball more than anybody else. You're just going to see them want this ball so badly. And that is what's going to help them tonight. What's going to really help them is the fact that they have a strong offensive line and a strong rushing core. And it's one of those situations where you'd think for a team that almost exclusively rushes that they would have a little bit more success in the department of switching things up. And that's exactly what it seems like they've got here in this crossover between the Patriot and Royal divisions. We've got a flag on the play. False start on the Clippers. That'll knock him back 5 yards, and that's a big break for Overbrook. It was 3rd and short. It looked like it was 3rd and 1 maybe. And now they knock him back 5 yards, makes it 3rd and 6. Not an easy pill to swallow at all for Clayton, as it brings them back to the 46-yard line, still in Overbrook territory, but not going to be easy for them to tackle. They pitch it to the left side. And down at the 40. Looked like he was able to keep in that time, Anik Figueroa.
Number 18, Waters, forces number 20, Enoch Figueroa out of bounds.
Tackle was made by number 10, Rashawn Jones, it looks like. So they got back to where they started. It's 4th and 3. They'll keep the offense on the field from the 42. A bit of a gamble here, but now Overbrook. Check that, Clayton calls a timeout. It's their first of the day. They'll have 2 remaining in the half, and we'll be back in just a moment. No score, but Clayton driving in their first offensive possession of the day. We'll be right back. No score, first frame here in Clayton at Haupt Field. 4th and 3. They send a man in motion. Figueroa, they fake the end around. Now it's going to be the quarterback, Hill, who will take it himself. He's going to be down around the 40. First down marker looks like it's at maybe the 39 and a half. This may be close. Could require a measurement for all we know, but Clayton is not going to have enough, and it's going to be a turnover on downs. Overbrook ball. That is a huge shift for Frank Wilczynski and this crew, getting to send Tariq Moore out there, especially after they took advantage, Clayton took advantage of an onside squib kick to retain the offensive possession. Now Overbrook gets to kind of silence them a little bit, forcing a turnover on downs and not allowing Clayton to get any first down. Let's take a look at that quarterback profile for Overbrook, Tariq Moore. He's passed a little bit more than Gabriel Hill, but not much. 258 passing yards, only 1 passing touchdown, which happened on opening week versus Cinnaminson. So he's gone the last 4 games in Overbrook's 3-2 record so far without a passing touchdown. Has contributed a bit on the rushing side. A long-winded rush to the left. Ends up going right back to where they started. And that will be 2nd and 9, it looks like, from the 41. But either team, I mean, I think both teams here are going to find getting any momentum to be difficult. Obviously, last year, Clayton had Demetrius Williams. That was a big gain for them. Of course, his younger brother, Deron Williams, is on this team. And that's the big thing for Clayton. I mean, this game literally ended in a high-scoring 42-42 tie last year as Moore gets a low-hanging pass, incomplete, intended for number 9. That was A.J. Powell. 3rd and 8 for the Rams. Again, Moore doesn't come off as like a giant starting quarterback. He's only 5'9", and somebody that's going to come in and not be the tallest player via stature on the team really has to make himself known as a mobile quarterback. And Hill and Moore are both mobile, but Hill might as well not even be much of a quarterback for how much he doesn't pass. But he's still giving John Chamberlain those assets that he needs, that he wants. And a pass, almost one-handed, but incomplete. A little bit high, intended for his leading running back, Axel Bailey. This will be 3 and out for Overbrook. So 2 quick drives here in the first. And Clayton's going to get the ball here, assuming that they punt this one away. A sideline warning has been called against the Clippers. There is no flag, but if that infraction happens a second time, it is a 5-yard penalty, and any future infractions after that would be 15 yards. Going to be a punt for Overbrook on 4th and 8 on the 42-yard line. Back to return will be Trevor Rem, the sophomore. Back to punt. See who he's got here. Sent away. Couldn't tell the number on that time. Fair catch called by Rem. And he'll make the catch and take a knee at the 23-yard line. So 2 drives already complete and less than 3 minutes taken off the board here in Clayton tonight. And this is going to be an interesting game just because I don't really know where this is going to go. Clayton with a win tonight will have reached their win total from last year. They were 5-4-1 in 2024. And that one tie being versus Overbrook. Again, a very rare tie just because the amount of teams that have games that go to overtime is rare. The amount of teams that have a game go to triple overtime is rare. and then even rarer to see that not conclude with a winner. 1st and 10, they are at the 24-yard line. Hill, handoff. Looks like Williams on the carry. He will get himself propelled forward about 5 yards. He'll get up to the 30. It'll be 2nd and mid-range for the Clippers. Excuse me, that was Quaddy Walls on the carry, but a lot of a host of Clayton rushers have been leading the way here in 2025. They've had a grand total of 12 players record rushing yards for Clayton this year, and they've had 5 of them with over 100. Enoch Figueroa with 193, Gabriel Hill himself with 229, Quaddy Walls with 227. Deron Williams leads the program with 284, and then Willie Weathers, the sophomore, has 109. And the player with the most rushes is Williams with 28, but it's been almost even. 27 rushes for Quaddy Walls, 28 for Deron Williams. And it is enough for a first down for Clayton. Barely enough that time on 3rd and 5. But 5 rushers with 100-plus rushing yards. 2nd place being the quarterback, Gabriel Hill. I mean, this is a team that, you know, almost reminds me of like an Army triple option a little bit, just because of how much this team runs. They only have 142 receiving yards, and the only player to have any receptions this year, Nyseer Walls. Every pass that Gabriel Hill has completed has been to that man, Nyseer Walls. Rush up the middle on 1st and 10. Gets nowhere with it, and they'll get stalled out at the 35. And after 2 quick drives from each side that didn't go, we now have a situation where they're setting up 2nd and 8 almost halfway through the first quarter, and not a lot of momentum. I mean, this could be a high-scoring game. It could not be. It really depends on, you know, which team is going to get momentum and which team is going to be more disciplined at the end of the day. This is a handoff to the left side. Getting through and finding some space will be Willie Weathers. He will weather the storm, and he will flip the field all the way up to the 41. It's a first down, Clayton. Big break for Willie Weathers that time. We just talked about how he was the lowest on the team in regards to the 5 rushers with over 100. He'll definitely climb up the ladder at least a rung that time with a rush for 22 yards. Clayton center breaks from the huddle, number 75, sophomore Riley Traum. 1st and 10 from the Overbrook 41. They are in enemy territory as Hill for pass number 11 of the year. It's incomplete over the middle. Intended for none other than Nyseer Walls. He would have had his 5th reception of the year, and it's incomplete with under 6 minutes left in the first. Interesting approach by Clayton to try to pass on 1st down, but unsuccessful. And again, I think you can kind of see why Clayton is hankering to be a running team. Again, and this is their 4-1. This is their 6th game of the year, and they've only attempted 11 passes. 2nd and 10, 41-yard line, towards the left hash. Again, 1 wide receiver lined up deep on the near sideline, being Walls. Overbrook defensive end was almost offside that time, and a delay of game gets called on Clayton. So a big mental mistake that time puts them on 5 yards back to the 45. 2nd and 15. Yeah, that was the defensive end, Courtney Hudson, lining up that time, who looked like he almost was lining up offside, and then Clayton just couldn't get a snap off in time. So Overbrook's lucky that they might have gotten away with one. If that ball was snapped, probably would have been an offside call. Second and 15. Rush up the middle by Walls. Or check that by Trevor Rim. Didn't get too far. That was actually going to be a loss on the play for 2. That one's right on top of the Clipper logo. It's going to be 3rd, and it looks like 17. So again, Clayton's already burned through a timeout in this half. And this set of downs has not been one to remember for the Clippers so far, even with the first down earlier from Willie Weathers. Man in motion. It is handed off on the right side to Figueroa. He'll get within 10 of the first down, but he's not going to get any farther on it. And he's going to get pulled down at the 40. Again, one of those fantastic 5 for Clayton, if you want to call him that. Going to set up 4th and long. It's only going to get him back to 11 yards of the first. Actually, they did get a little bit further that time. It's spotted at the 39.
Ball spotted at the Overbrook 39-yard line, brings up 4th and 8 for Clayton.
And the question of whether or not Clayton will keep the offense on the field is a good one to ask, because you don't really have a dedicated kicker, at least not on the Clayton roster. Again, sometimes in Group 1 football, in terms of special teams, your kickers and punters are the best men that you can find. We saw Buna, I believe it was 2 weeks ago.
Looks like they're calling a timeout here.
Yeah, Clayton definitely stayed in the huddle for a long time, and they called a timeout. That is their second of the half. We'll stay right here. Again, that is timeout number 2 already that John Chamberlain has called, but still no score here. Looks like we've got 4:06.
Looks like a Clayton player doing push-ups in the huddle.
He's kind of getting himself ready, I guess, if you want to call it that. But here from, again, Haupt Field at Clayton High School. Just such a nice press box here. This broadcast is brought to you by our good friends over at the Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators, or Dog Pro Wrestling. Tune in on Saturday night, October 4th, for a rebroadcast of their recent event at Rowan College of Burlington County on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. We live streamed the event on their YouTube page on Thursday in the afternoon, but we will be rebroadcasting the 3-hour event from 8 to 11 p.m. on Saturday, October the 4th. Yeah, this field renovated a couple of years ago. Handoff. Bit of a stutter step that time for Hill. He's going to let it fly. Left side. It's intercepted by Overbrook. Taken down on the near sideline. Whistles called. Flag down. Interception by McQueen Futch. And a penalty against Overbrook. Again, Hill got picked off. I want to get clarification on the call. Looks like Clayton's going to hang on to the ball.
Yeah, but it looks like Overbrook's exposing Clayton's passing game early here. You know, they've been running the ball a lot, but they are going to have to pass the ball to, you know, be successful. So we'll look to see how Overbrook can challenge the pass game here.
Yeah, that's a good point. The call is roughing the passer. It's a 15-yard penalty, so the interception is nullified, and Clayton just got a big break. But, yes, I agree. They have been exposing the Clayton passing game, because this is the first time in a while that we've seen Clayton really air it out in this first quarter. Maybe they're trying something new here versus Overbrook. Rush up the middle. Big stop that time by number 51, Javon Presley. Rush made presumably by Walls, Quaddy Walls. And again, on Clayton in their best field position that they've had all night. It's going to be a question of whether or not Clayton can keep this consistent. Because if that interception had stood, I'll tell you, Overbrook would have definitely had a lot of luck in this first quarter so far. But with just over 3 minutes remaining, going to be interesting to see how this works. Weathers was in motion. Walls tried to take it up the middle, but a false start gets called on Overbrook, or on Clayton, rather.
False start against the Clayton brings up a loss of 5 and second 15 from the 29.
So they're knocked back to the 29-yard line. And Gabriel Hill rejoining the huddle here after the false start. But Clayton, I tell you, both of these teams have really been hurting themselves with penalties. Overbrook with the roughing the passer. Clayton's had several false starts and a delay of game now. Those plays don't instill confidence in a coach. And those penalties definitely don't make a coach happy. Over the middle. Got it up to the 25. Quaddy Walls had the rush. But yeah, it seems like both of these teams, as soon as they get any hint of momentum, fizzles out very quickly. And of course, we've only seen one drive from, we've seen now 2 drives from Overbrook. So it's a small sample size. But as you go along, we've got another one. That's another false start. Clayton's got to be doing something wrong when they've got the man in motion. It seems like that whenever, I think it's Weathers, and it might be Enoch Figueroa as well, when he runs to the left side, I don't know. It seems like somebody's jumping as soon as they get the man in motion, which Clayton does a lot. That's going to be a tough one to see whether or not Clayton can rebound from that on this drive, because they're already buried a little bit here. 3rd and 15 from the 29. You know, this isn't like last year. You know, last year we had Demetrius Williams, and as much as I don't love talking about players that have graduated, because in college football you can get away with it because they've gone professional, but in high school football, the fans, their focus and the coach's focus are the players on the field. So the announcer's focus should reflect that. As Figueroa had the carry on 3rd and 15, but it just gets stopped very quickly. But when you had a player with the impact that Demetrius Williams had, a kind of a one-trick pony, could really do it all for Clayton. Really, he provided everything that Clayton could have possibly wanted. Now that he's gone, they've got to fill in the hole. So when you had one impact rusher last year, how do you replace that? You get 5 rushers for over 100 yards. You put yourself in the books that way. We've got 40 seconds left in the first quarter. Looking like we could have a scoreless first here. Again, in a game that had 84 combined points last year. Is Clayton going to call their last time out of the half already? They will. So they are burning through those timeouts like a pizza in an oven. They've got all 3 of them, and all 3 have been used up. We'll be right back. They've used their last of the first half with, looks like, about 33 seconds left. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back in just a moment. Near the end of the first quarter, that's got to be a fun place to watch the game. There's a cemetery back there that you can't really see. As now Hill fires one, and incomplete, intended for Nyseer Walls, and on 4th and long, they're unable to convert, and it's a turnover on downs. 2nd of the day for Clayton. Overbrook takes over with 28 seconds left in the first quarter.
I like that play call, though, on fourth down. You know, it was a good read over the middle, but they just couldn't execute. I mean, I like the play call, but they're just going to have to execute next time.
Yeah, that was the 3rd pass that Hill had attempted in this drive. One was picked off but called back for a roughing the passer. Gabriel Hill's finally going to the air. I like it.
I like it, too.
We only saw it 4 times versus Collingswood back when we covered Clayton on August the 29th. Tariq Moore, direct snap to the quarterback, takes it himself, get himself a first down. He is down at midfield. A huge rush and getting himself out of bounds. A big play for Tariq Moore, the senior quarterback. Again, may not be the tallest gentleman on the field, but he's got hops. He's got legs. He's got great speed. And Tariq Moore gets himself over the middle for a first down for Overbrook. They get themselves to the 48-yard line. Two receivers to the right. Moore with a handoff. Looks like Bailey's on the carry. He will get snuffed out. Forward Progress will whistle this play dead. And at the end of the first quarter, no team has scored, and only one team has even gotten into the red zone. I don't even think Clayton's gotten into the red zone. I think they've gotten to the 25. That's about it. At the end of the first quarter, we're scoreless. Overbrook and Clayton. Right more after this. Jeppelite, he's, again, one time leaving the bases loaded is frustrating enough. Doing it twice in a row. Oh, how about this? Line drive. No, he's throwing it around the infield. They're going to throw him out at first. He's out. I have never seen that before. That is a 5-4-3 ground out. Because the third baseman thought he caught it. The home plate umpire said no. So he threw it around the infield and then got the out at first anyway because the batter thought he was out.
The batter stopped. The third baseman thought
Everybody
he caught
stopped.
it. And it touched.
Second quarter here underway, or about to be underway, from Haupt Field. I'm Dan Wilkins, joined by Ben Weldon, as Overbrook will have the ball. First and 10 from the opposing 48-yard line. We've got South Jersey Group 1 action. A Patriot versus Royal crossover as Moore hands off to Bailey. He's got to rush up the middle. He's going to have another first down. He's got some space. He's got plenty of space. Axel Bailey turns on the wheels, and he's got a touchdown, 48 yards to the house. Overbrook scores. And it took just the first play of the second quarter to get some points on the board as the Rams lead this one 6-0. A 48-yard rush by Axel Bailey, his 9th rushing touchdown of the year. And the Rams lead this one with just 10 seconds gone in the second quarter. They will attempt a 2-point conversion with Moore under center, or in the shotgun actually. Not a very deep shotgun, but he hands it off to Bailey. Is this an 8-point play? It is no good. Well, this game was topsy-turvy last year with an 84-point combination between the two teams. And now the road to that starts right now. It's 6-0 Overbrook. Huge play that time.
Yeah, Axel Bailey's having a huge breakout year. He has, coming into this game, he had 598 rushing yards and 8 tutties. So, he's looking to extend his rushing yards and touchdowns.
Yeah, that's going to be big. Again, a guy like Frank Wilczynski, he loves a versatile rusher. That's going to be big. I mean, we talk about what Bailey has been able to accomplish. As we said, this is his 9th rushing touchdown of the year. Leading rusher on the team. You also have seen Tariq Moore take 380 rushing yards. Overbrook already over 1,000 on the season as a team, with additional contributions by Rashawn Jones and Rasir McQueen-Futch. So 6-0 Overbrook. They've won the last 2 matchups between these two teams. Some out-of-town scoreboard updates at this time. West Deptford leads Haddonfield 8-7 at the end of the first quarter. It seems like that's the de facto game of the week right now. A lot of our reporting friends are there. Burlington Township leads Burlington City 8-0 at the half. Bit of an upset watch. Williamstown leads Rancocas Valley 14-3 at half. And Bridgeton leads Cumberland 7-0 early in the first quarter. That game didn't get started until about 7:15, so see what else we got. Here we go, low-hanging kick. It's going to hop really high on that turf. It bounces off the leg of the returner, Williams. He gets wrestled down at the 33, and Clayton, down 6 points in the second quarter, will look to get themselves their first points of the game. Elijah Dixon got the tackle that time. Not too much in South Jersey world last night. There were only, I think, 4 games. But how about a game that I was at last night? Lindenwold and Pittman. We were originally supposed to cover that game, but we'll just be honest. We didn't cover the game because Pittman, or rather Lindenwold, did not have proper rosters. We wanted to kind of, conserve our spirits a little bit. Game ended 27-22, and Charles Barber set the South Jersey single-game record for receiving yards with 293. Incredible stuff as Clayton's rush goes short. So the final score again was 27-22. Atlantic City crushed Vineland to improve to 5-1, 55-10. Absegami shut out ACIT 16-0, and Pleasantville shut out Woodstown 40-0. 2nd and 9 for the Clippers. As again, Overbrook seems like they have the momentum right now, and we talked about, I believe it was 3 weeks ago at this point, it was the second week of September, we were at Pennsville versus Overbrook. So it's going to be fun to see these two face off against each other. Two teams that have a lot of heart and a lot of rushes as well. Rush up to the 37, tackle made. Couldn't tell who actually got the tackle that time. That might have been Powell. Or it was number 7, Jimmy Green. 3rd and 7 from the 37. Oh, wow, Washington Township up huge on Lenape, 42-0 at half. And then, how about Collingswood up 18-14 on Sterling at the halftime. Got another couple of rushes, but that won't do for Clayton. They'll need a little bit more. Figueroa got the carry, got up to the 40 that time. It's a gain of 3. And a face mask is going to be called on Overbrook. So that's going to be a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down. So that is huge. Overbrook really running into a lot of penalties here. And don't get me wrong, Clayton's been running into penalties too, but Overbrook's penalties have been of a much larger magnitude. We've seen a roughing the passer, and we've seen now a big face mask call on 3rd and 7 that have backed them up into Clayton territory. They're at the 44. Hill takes it himself. He's got a lot of room. Look at how much room he's got. He can fly. Onto the sideline. He's out at the 10. Gabriel Hill picks up a huge rush for a gain of 30. I think it was 32 that time. Clippers in a huge spot here, huge position to shift the momentum, put themselves in the lead. And again, with Overbrook missing their 2-point conversion from their score, a 48-yard rush by Axel Bailey. Could see a big shift. By the way, Williamstown and RV, a couple more scores back-to-back. 21-10 now, Braves. So he stepped out at the 20, so my approach was a little bit aggressive. It was a gain of 24. DJ Loebman got the tackle that time for Overbrook. It is 2nd and 5. They're at the 15, but still solidly in the red zone. Shawnee leads Cherokee 7-0 in the second quarter. Hill, another carry. Not getting too hot that time. He will get another 3 or 4 yards, and this drive progression looking a lot better than their first before they got bailed out by Overbrook's face mask. Triton leads Cherry Hill West 21-6 at the open of the second half. This is the benefit of covering games that start at 7 o'clock, because when we start the games at 6, we're kind of following the rest of the games as they go along. But for the 6 o'clock starts, this is nice, kind of being behind everybody else. Alex Figueroa gets tackled hard. It's third and short. He's going to try to dive forward with Overbrook defenders tackling him at his feet. They'll still be in the red zone and they'll still gain, but it's probably not going to be enough for a first down. And now Clayton's got a tough decision because, again, if this was a Group 4, Group 5 game, you've got a huge roster. You probably have a dedicated place kicker. You could say, all right, you're up to the 13-yard line. That's something like a 30, 35-yard attempt. That would be pretty simple. But for this, you really can only kick the extra points. You probably don't want to gamble anything. We've only seen one made field goal this year, and that was last week with Del Ryan, and that was an established kicker in a game that ended 22-10. 4th and 3. They'll knock this one back on forward progress. They should have whistled that dead probably a lot earlier. Looks like this is going to be well short, and Overbrook picks up their 3rd turnover of the half, and all of them have been turnovers on downs. Some big breaks for the Rams. I mean, Clayton's just got to finish on these drives. I can't really tell you, I can't really have the know-how of how they should finish those drives, but at the end of the day, Clayton has now turned over the ball 3 times in this first half on turnovers on downs. Can't have that happen for a team that's won 4 straight games and has been on such a good roll. Overbrook just might outman them for that reason. We'll have to see. First score was a 48-yard rushing touchdown by Axel Bailey. Botch snap. And Moore is able to salvage at least something out of it with the drive starting from their own 13. Gain of 1, 2nd and 9. Just under 7 minutes left in the first half. Only 1 score so far. Another rush up the middle, still on his feet. That's Bailey. How about this? Now, finally, Clayton's defense comes to their senses and takes care of them for either neutral gain or small gain. That was McQueen Futch on the carry. How about that? Putting a different name in the game here, and they got him further than we expected or than we anticipated because he stayed on his feet a long, long time. He got about 5 yards. It's 3rd and 4. They're still pinned within their own 20, but they're not far from getting out of this, and Clayton just jumped. Defensive line. That was number 53, Nicholas Norrie, who got the jump that time. And that is going to be a first down for Overbrook. So both teams are making plenty of crucial mistakes here in this first half. And Overbrook's been getting crucial penalties against them, like roughing the passer and face mask. Well, Clayton just had almost an equally offensive penalty with a 3rd and 4 offside on the defensive end that now gives Overbrook a free set of downs with under 6 minutes left in the half. It's going to be difficult to come back from this, but if Overbrook can come back from down 21 3 weeks ago, I think Clayton could maybe have another couple of tricks up their sleeve. Moore up the middle. He'll dive forward for about 8, and a very late flag comes in from the side. Referees will meet to make sure they're on the same page before delivering the flag. Low block. on Clayton. Clayton's really hurting themselves with these penalties. I mean, I could say the same for Overbrook, but right now it just seems like whoever is on defense is making the mistakes. Just a switch flips.
I'm sure that's what the coaches are going to be saying in the halftime huddle. You know, guys, we gotta stay on sides. Like, flags can kill games, especially a close game, 6-0. I mean, this is what causes, you know, like close games, flags. You know,
They could be the difference.
yeah.
Handoff, Bailey. He's got room! Axel Bailey! He put on the wheels the first time. He just refueled and did it again. 66 yards. Or, excuse me, 56 yards. Axel Bailey. Ooh, baby. 2 touchdowns. He's got 10 on the year. And it's 12-0 Overbrook in quarter number 2.
He's so explosive. When he goes, he goes. I mean, you can't catch him when he gets out of the pocket.
Once he gets out of there, I mean, he's had a couple chances where he was close. That was the first time where he really got in and dug it out and was able to get, again, his second rushing touchdown. He had one for 48. Now he's had one from 56. Just unreal so far for Axel Bailey, 2-score game. 12-0 Overbrook. They send Bailey in motion, but now Moore with a direct snap. He's going to go through the middle, and it is good. 2-point conversion successful there, 1 for 2, and that makes it 14-0 in favor of the Rams. We'll take a quick break with 4:48 left in the first half. We'll be right back. (14-0) Overbrook leads. I'll tell you, Clayton just made an announcement. They said all the princes, princesses, and the court to go to the scoreboard side of the bleachers. I don't know if I apply in that. No, I'm kidding. But because tonight is homecoming night for Clayton. So I guess tonight must be the homecoming game for the Clippers. I don't know if that would mean that they would have their homecoming like on a Saturday night, and this would be kind of the lead up to it. But here comes the kick from Overbrook. Another low hanger. A good recovery that time by Clayton to get that one on the front line. It was number 11, James Fritz, who came down with it. And Clayton will have the possession from their own 49. So a great start to this drive with 4:47 left in the first half. I'm Dan Wilkins, joined by Ben Wilden. We'll be on the air tomorrow morning from Woodbury High School, the Woodbury Bowl, for our third of 4 with the Thundering Herd. An 11 a.m. kickoff between the Gateway Gators and the Woodbury Thundering Herd. Gateway Woodbury, the famous rivalry, will be refueled, revived after it came off of the Thanksgiving window last year. Hill fakes, pass number 4, incomplete. 3 receivers on him, late flag, might have PI. Not sure which side it would be on, but there was everybody everywhere all at once, and we're going to have pass interference on the defense. That is the third 15-yard penalty that Overbrook has run to in this second quarter alone. Face mask, roughing the passer, and now defensive pass interference. Those are not good things to run by, but yet somehow they're up 2 scores. Sometimes you kind of have to go back and say, okay, well, who's at fault here? You know, they have huge penalties, but yet they're still driving and they're still extending their lead. Well, Clayton's had 3 turnovers on downs. So if you do the math, it very much seems like one is outweighing the other. And what is being outweighed right now is the fact that Overbrook keeps making mistakes, and Clayton says, "Nah, I'm going to keep making mistakes." That's what's making this game very difficult right now. Weathers, carry, room, up to the 29. Got a gain of maybe 8 or 9. No, we got enough for, looks like 12 yards that time, and it's a first down, Clippers. That's going to be a big gain for Willie Weathers, but again, the fact that Clayton is diversifying that backfield, being able to really do anything with their 5 or more running backs has really been a fun thing to carry. First and 10. Hill hands it off. This time, Figueroa. Ball out.
Ball comes out.
Overbrook's got it. That's turnover number 4. Look at this sideline. Somebody put springs in their shoes. They're hopping all over the place. And Overbrook takes over in a deflating end of the drive after Clayton had just gotten back to the fruition with the defensive pass interference. They were just outside of the red zone. And now another very, very tough break. That is rough. Oh, man. They're at the 31. First down, Overbrook.
I mean, nothing's going Clayton's way tonight. I mean, facing a lot of adversity, but it's how you come back from adversity. Like, it's how you come back in the next half, you know, make up those mistakes and be better.
Remember, Clayton will receive the ball to start the second half. Rush up the middle, getting tossed around a little bit at that time was number 58, Jaden Devan. They got 4 yards. They're up to the 34. Yeah, right now, Overbrook, I think that they're going to have a very different message in the clubhouse because it's going to be a conflicted message. They're going to say, hey, we're shooting ourselves in the foot with these penalties, but we're also up 2 scores, and they could be up 3 by the end of the half. We don't know. Moore, right side. Got a little bit of room, and he is down. It looks like this should be enough for a first. They're going to be at the 40.
I think that's Tyreek Moore's that's his best attribute right there, running out of the pocket. I mean, you see all the time. He gets out of there quick and gets a lot of yards. So if he keeps doing that, they'll be in good shape.
Yeah, that's the thing that makes Tyreek Moore very unique is that, you know, again, when you talk about mobile quarterbacks, sometimes they do best when it's not a designed play. You have a pass play, maybe a vertical play, whatever, that doesn't go to plan. Offensive line doesn't hold up. Then you find a way to scramble out of it. A lot of these rushing plays that Moore has had are designed run plays for the quarterback. Roll out to the left or right and make your move. Again, kind of like a triple option. Getting swallowed up that time by the Clayton defense. That was McQueen Futch on the carry. And it looks like on the tackle was Hibbert, the junior. 2nd and 9. Still in Overbrook territory from the 41. Moore, hands off. Another rush, another breakaway, but this time Bailey is wrapped up at the last line of defense. Will be enough for a Overbrook first down as we get within 2 minutes of the first half. At the halftime break, don't forget to tune in for the Dan Wilkins Broadcasting Archives program, where we show you the best of the best in DWB's history from our nearly 4-year history. Yes, we'll be celebrating 4 years this weekend. October 5th, Sunday, will be the 4th anniversary of Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. We started off, our first stream was on October 5th, 2021. As the rush by Bailey, tackled. He's on his feet. Coming up with it that time was number 6, Trevor Rem on the tackle. But Bailey's going to be the X factor for Overbrook. there's a multitude of guys who are going to contribute for Clayton. You have kind of this conundrum where Overbrook is going to be sending a handful of guys back out while Clayton's going to be sending a lot of guys out. And that just means that they're going to be rushing with a lot of different guys, keeping that fatigue low, or at least as low as they can. And by the way, incompletion that time. It'll make an interesting situation. I don't know whether or not it'll be effective, but we'll have to see if it'll be interesting is the question. 1:17 left in the first half. Third and 6. Again, here from the famous Haupt Field in Clayton. Kickoff was at 7 o'clock tonight. It's been a fun one so far. Overbrook up 2 scores, 14-zip. Moore faded to the right. He looked to his right, and this is going to be short by about 2 yards. Dove forward, got to the 37.
Brings up a 4th and short for Overbrook.
Fourth and 2. Under a minute and a half. Another rush up the middle, and another breakaway. Here comes another one. Left side. There's a man down. And I can't tell what's going on down there. Couldn't tell from the box. There is a Clayton player down. I'm sorry, we're kind of blocked in the press box. I apologize. It just kind of went to the corner where we can't really see much. And I can't tell whether it looks like the touchdown will stand. So it'll make it now 20-0.
There you see again Tyreek Moore showing off his ability to run out of the pocket.
And as they set up for a 2-point conversion,
Number 5, Tyreek Moore with a touchdown for Overbrook.
again making it 20-0 here. Second quarter. Almost done the second quarter here, but
Penalty flag is against Clayton. Unsportsmanlike.
there's an unsportsmanlike against Clayton. I had a feeling that something had gone awry in the end zone that we just couldn't see because of the bad angle here in the press box. Again, I apologize. There's nothing I can really do about it. So I think that somebody messed up some way, somehow, and Clayton's going to pay for it. So that was the lineman number 52 that was down, Roderick Harper. So the touchdown will stand.
Please report to the scoreboard side of the bleachers immediately. Mason Gable, please report to the scoreboard side of the bleachers immediately.
Somebody's in trouble. But so is Clayton. Got hit with an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty after the touchdown. Because, again, it seemed like just something had spilled over and we just couldn't see it. So, I apologize. Not much we can do. But Overbrook will attempt a 2-point conversion. My assumption is that any penalties against Clayton will be assessed at the kickoff. By the way, Cherokee came back. They've tied Shawnee up 14-14 at the tail end of the first half. To make this a 22-0 game, if successful, they're 1 for 2 so far on 2-pointers. Moore up the middle, and it is good. 2-point conversion successful, and Overbrook's running away with this one. They're already up 22-0. A huge change from the first half of last year's game. And I'll tell you this, it's a complete change from the entirety of last year's game between these two. 33 seconds left. We'll stay right here. 22-0. And we'll see where this kickoff gets spotted because of potential or because of the unsportsmanlike conduct call. Again, our next broadcast, Gateway at Woodbury on Saturday the 4th. In the Gateway-Woodbury rivalry, I call it the Battle of Route 45. And then Sunday, we've got South Jersey NABA action between the South Jersey Eagles and the Sicklerville Phillies. 9 a.m. from the Gloucester County Community Park in Sicklerville. Another kickoff return by Clayton this time, finding himself some room. Jordan Thompson, rather, to Ron Williams on the return. We'll have 24 seconds left in half. So 1st and 10. Clayton looking for one final score before the half. And for our football action next week, should be some fun action next week. The 9th, excuse me, let me pull up my calendar real quick. The 9th, we've got Cinnaminson at Glassboro. And then Friday, we've got Notre Dame at PVI in non-public action. And Saturday, we've got St. Joe's Hamilton at ACIT. So we will be all over the place this weekend. And they're going to let this one run out. So they'll kneel, and at the end of the first half, Clayton immediately making their way to their locker room at the Jim Hall Fieldhouse as Overbrook has taken a road first half and made it their own. It's the Rams 22 and the Clippers 0 at half. We'll be back in about 15 minutes.
Book Dog Pro Wrestling for your next event or outing for the greatest action that New Jersey Pro Wrestling has to offer. Any place, any time, any setting, Dog Pro Wrestling will bring the action to you, and you won't want to miss it for moments like this. But don't just take it from me. Take it from Max Mundo, the Dog Pro Wrestling ambassador.
This is Max Mundo with Dog Pro Wrestling. Are you a civic organization, sporting club looking to fundraise? Then look no further to Dog Pro Wrestling. We do grand openings, corporate events, and much more.
And why not from some of the wrestling talent themselves?
I'm Vinny the Fixer, and I'm the champion of Dog Professional Wrestling. If you want to book the best, come see us. We're the cream of the crop. We'll come to any fundraiser you can think of. Just name the place and we'll show up.
This is the upstanding Dylan Mesh, and for the entirety of my professional wrestling career, dog wrestling has been a mainstay for where I like to wrestle. So you can believe me when I say that it is quality. And I'm upstanding. I'm the only opinion you need.
Yeah! It's your boy Gabriel Hodder here with my man Matthew Oman, and if you want your events to be all fight, no flight,
then book Dog Wrestling so you can witness true primal fear.
Woo!
May is Mental Health Awareness Month. It is the responsibility of all of us to make sure that our friends, family, and anybody who we hold dear in our lives is feeling well. The problem with spotting mental health issues is that the symptoms aren't that obvious. Just because someone is okay or appears okay on the outside doesn't mean that they're okay on the inside. It's important that if they are in distress, that they call the right people and they get the help that they need. And it is very important that we treat each other with respect, regardless of who you are or where you come from. But it is just as important that we treat ourselves with respect, regardless of the situation going on in our lives. If you're in distress, you can call this number, 988, or you can visit any of these websites if you're not in distress, but would like to learn more information about mental health awareness and research. In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
Jersey is the number 2 seed. As we said, they beat Manville 19-0 in the first round, which was even larger than Audubon's 16-0 win over Paulsboro as the 1 seed in the first round. That one's hit out towards center field, straight away. Oh, she misjudged it. Got over her head in center field. Now this one's got a chance to be 3 bases for Spire. She's flying around third. Here comes the throw to the plate. It is not in time. What a way to kick off a semifinal with an inside the park home run. Emma Spire, who will take her talents to the Great Danes after 2026, lights up the scoreboard with a fly ball that got misjudged in center field. And it gets past everybody. Graham will go back to position with no goal scored. They'll count down the time out loud here. Out to the left. One final shot, and it gets through. How about a buzzer beater? How do you do? It's a lead extending goal for Justin Lewis. Ogley to end the day for Luke Pokrovsky. Little pop-up, first base side, he calls for it, and for the first time in 33 years, the Charlotte Cougars will hoist the trophy and face Middlesex on Monday. 4-3, Cougars win it. And in the battle of green and gold, the trophy stays true with the visitors. What a finish! And Shalleck will pack their bags for Middlesex and the Blue Jays when the weekend turns around to Monday. Epplite, he's, again, one time leaving the bases loaded is frustrating enough. Doing it twice in a row. Oh, how about this? Line drive. No, he's throwing it around the infield. They're going to throw him out at first. He's out. I have never seen that before. That is a 5-4-3 ground out. Because the third baseman thought he caught it. The home plate umpire said no. So he threw it around the infield and then got the out at first anyway because the batter thought he was out.
The batter stopped. The third baseman thought
Everybody
he caught
stopped.
it. And it touched.
And Argabright with a full count. Outfielders in communication for the Quakers. Everyone's looking around in a tie game, bottom of the 6th. The 3-2 payoff. Ground ball. It's going to get over the head of Tolbert into left field. That's a base hit. 2-run score. Argabright delivers when asked. 5-3. Alex Argabright has given the Golden Eagles a 5-3 lead in the bottom of the 6th inning. So after the holding call to be 1st and 20, as now rolling out to the right side, he's got a little bit of room to run on a QB rush. He's going to get a first down. There's no flags, and how about this for 61 yards? Anthony Gaetano with a QB rush that works to perfection. He hugs the sideline, and Anthony Gaetano gets the scoring started for the Red Hawks at 7-6. Jack Mostero, 2 for 3 with a strikeout, a double, and a single. Looking to play hero. He's going to line this one into right center field, and that's going to drop. That's going to do it if they don't get a throw down. Mostero's going to second, and Danza's coming home. Sectional champions, Gloucester Catholic. They do it in a walk-off fashion as GC with Mostero playing hero. An unbelievable First half down, second half to go here from Clayton at Haupt Field. It's Overbrook 22, Clippers 0. This has been a game, this has been a half to forget for Clayton so far. And even with Overbrook, this has been such a confusing half because Overbrook's had a lot of penalties that have shot themselves in the foot. They've had a roughing the passer. They've had a pass interference. They've had a face mask. If there's been a bad penalty, you've been able to name it. But the problem is that Clayton has one-upped them, and they've had themselves 4 turnovers, 3 turnovers on down, and a fumble that was recovered by Overbrook. And they got those 3 scores in a hurry. It was a scoreless first quarter, and it only took 1 play in the second to give Overbrook their initial lead. And then they put up a 22-point second quarter that has now turned this game on its head. The question is for Clayton is that where do they want to go from here? They've definitely experimented with passing a little bit more than usual from Gabriel Hill. And now that they go into the second half down by 3 scores, down by 22 points, where do they want to go from here? Overbrook's defense has definitely been holding up, and this game has proven to be very much different than how it was last year in Pine Hill with a 42-42 tie. But right now, the turf has been unforgiving to the Clippers as they've been unable to hang on to the ball effectively, and they've been unable to advance the ball effectively either. And for John Chamberlain, again, I think some context that we forget is that John Chamberlain is a former running back. He's a 2014 Williamstown grad who also graduated from McDaniel College in 2019. He was a starting running back for McDaniel, the Division III program in Maryland. So when you're a running back, you kind of want to run a run-based offense. You know, when we covered Clayton and Collingswood last year, the biggest thing was that we were talking about head coach Mike McEwen. Mike McEwen was a record-setting wide receiver at LaSalle in the 90s and 2000s. So when you consider that, yeah, it makes sense that they want John Antrilli to throw the ball more. But when you're a guy like John Chamberlain, he's a running coordinator or running first coach because he himself was a running back. If we had a former quarterback as a coach, you might see a favorable passing offense. Or if you had a former lineman as a coach, that definitely can change things up a little bit. You know, we were just talking to Frank Rago over in the press box here, the Clayton boys basketball head coach, and we talked about Liam James. In 2005, he was the starting point guard for Gloucester City, and those teams like to run a point guard-based offense where the point guard is a heavy passer and also somewhat of a heavy shooter. So you think about it that way. Where the coach comes from and the coach's playing experience does come into play. And for Frank Wilczynski, you know, he's somebody that really likes to run the ball as well. We haven't seen as much passing from Tariq Moore as we did 3 weeks ago versus Pennsville. But the counter to that is that, well, Pennsville was up 21-0 in the first quarter. It was 21-8 at the end of the first. It was 21-14 at half. And then by the end of the third quarter, Overbrook was in front 22-21 and the game was over. That's where this Overbrook defense is really holding up, is that they did not have the same struggles in the first half here versus Clayton as they did 3 weeks ago when we covered them versus Pennsville. It's been an up-and-down Overbrook season. They lost to Paulsboro, an unbeaten Paulsboro, but they only lost by 10 points. For a team that is looking like more and more like it's back to the days of Glenn Howard, this is a team that, you know, played valiantly versus them. I believe 26-16 was the final. They shut out Cinnamons in the start of the year. There's high hopes for Overbrook. And right now, as they go into this 6th game of the year for both sides, they're trying to disrupt a 4-game winning streak for the Clippers. And meanwhile, Overbrook trying to start another winning streak of their own going into a crucial month of October. We'll be right back. 12 minutes back on the clock here in quarter number 3. We've got more South Jersey Group 1 action between the Rams and the Clippers right after this. Second half ready to go, ready to commence here from Haupt Field. Overbrook will kick this one off. Now, if you remember, Clayton did open the game with an onside kick recoveries, if you're curious as to why Clayton is receiving the second half kickoff, despite having the first drive of the day. Well, again, that's because of the onside kick recovery. I wonder if Overbrook's going to try the same thing here, try to make up for lost time. It's a grounder kick. Gets through 2 lines. It's going to be picked up by the big fella. It's going to be Williams. He's going to barrel through. He'll be down at the 38, and that's where Clayton will start their first drive of the second half. And again, Williams being the leading rusher for Clayton has been rather, has been not absent, but he's definitely not been as prominent as excuse me, as you'd expect this season. It'll be interesting to see how it ends up working out for these two because, you know, Williams, again, a very prominent running back, the younger brother of Demetrius Williams, who rushed for over 2,000 yards in a record-setting season for the Clippers in his senior year in 2024. Send a man in motion and a whistle. We're going to have a false start here, it looks like. There's something wrong with when Clayton sends a man in motion. It gets somebody too fired up. It's something about that pre-snap cadence that's really rocking the Clippers here. And we saw that in the first half, and that now ends up being another issue in the second, prior to our first play of the second half.
Yeah, I think that's Clayton's 4th or 5th false start, so they have to try to prevent from happening again.
They do hand it off, some room for Willie Weathers. He's going to get a gain of 15. He'll get right up to the first down marker. Bailey ended up picking up the tackle that time for Overbrook. And Willie Weathers will get the required 15 yards. Clayton gets through to the 49. First down Clippers. Another rush this time, near sideline, a big hit.
There is a flag on the play.
We'll see where that flag came in. Haven Walls on the rush. Might be hands to the face, unfortunately, for Clayton. I think this penalty is going to walk him back. Defensive face mask. That's another big break. That is the 4th 15-yard penalty that has been assessed against Overbrook here tonight. That's the 2nd face mask called. And again, you wonder why in this situation, in this game, 4 big fouls and not really any repercussions on the scoreboard. That's how much Clayton needs to capitalize in this second half. Time is of the essence. 10:30 and running on the clock. That's what's going to be big. You have to consider the fact that, you know, Clayton just needs to take advantage of it. There's no excuses at this point in the game to not take advantage of penalties. Weathers with a rush. I know they got to whistle that down. They are not whistling the forward progress soon enough.
I mean, I know you're a run-heavy team, but there's got to be a point where you just got to start throwing the ball. You're down 22-0. You got to start throwing the ball because the clock's running, it's moving, and you gotta get some points on the board here.
That's the thing is that, you know, right now, again, Clayton's not used to throwing the ball. They had 10 passes by Gabriel Hill for a 40% pass completion rate in all 5 games this year. Now, it's worked against some opponents. They shut out Haddon Township and Gloucester Catholic. As now a handoff, it's Williams barreling forward. He's going to be in the red zone here. This is going to be a big drive for Clayton. This is going to be a prove-it drive for the Clippers. If they can find a way to get into the end zone here, that could shift the momentum. You give the ball back to Overbrook. They've had several drives where they haven't scored. If you can find a way to get into the end zone here, put 8 points up, even if you put up 6 points up, 22-6, you at least avoid a shutout. And you kind of start pulling off the moves to make an inverse of Overbrook from 3 weeks ago at Pennsville. Man in motion is Weathers. Handoff to Williams. A host of everybody taking that one down with the ball spotted at the 23. They're going to get within the 20, so now Clayton will be in the red zone here on what's going to be, what's the call here? It's going to be 4th and 4. So a big spot. Gabriel Hill and company will need to make this right here in the third quarter.
I mean, Clayton has really no other choice here than just to go for it. You know, they don't have a place kicker, a good, you know, place kicker on the roster.
Yeah, that's not really an option for them. The rush all the way up to the 7-yard line that time, as Haven Walls is going to pick up what looks like maybe a first. Line to gain was at the 15. They're going to be way up there. It's going to be at the 10, and it's going to be enough for first and goal. So they'll drop the sticks. They're going to be at the 9, and now Clayton getting even closer to their first touchdown of the game. Under 8 minutes left in the third quarter. Just getting started. Oh, big hit. Williams spinning around. Taken down hard by number 52, that being Julian Sanchez.
You know, it's not impossible for Overbrook or Clayton to come back 22-0. I mean, we saw Overbrook from a similar score coming back a couple weeks ago against Pennsville, where they came back 22-0. So it's not impossible for Clayton. They just got to get stuff going here.
It's important to get things going. That's exactly right. Weathers did get the ball on the left side, and he's going to get through. Touchdown, Clippers. Rock the boat yard, Willie Weathers, weathering the storm. And the Clippers are on the board for the first time tonight. It's 22-6. It's their first touchdown of the game. It avoids a shutout, and it starts the gears in motion for a potential Clipper comeback. We'll see what they've got. I mean, listen, it's Overbrook's first touchdown allowed, and it will be quite the story shifter if Overbrook ends up falling to the same switcheroo that got Pennsville. We keep beating it in like a broken record, but again, that was a huge one. We got whistles. There was movement, and it's a false start on the 2-point conversion. So that's going to knock him back 5 yards, and that's going to make this 2-point conversion difficult. Think on this next kickoff, Clayton should attempt an onside kick, try to get the ball back?
I think they should, because I mean, you're not going to have too many opportunities here. There's already 7 minutes left to go in the third quarter. I think you gotta get the momentum going. I feel like they should. You know, it's worth taking a shot.
It's worth taking a shot because they've already made it work. They made it work on the opening kickoff, surprised us all. Now, they didn't score on that drive, but it's going to be important to see if they're going to be able to have that kind of gut and to be bold. Hill's going to drop back to pass. He lets it fly over the middle, incomplete. The intended receiver was Nasir Walls. It was broken up by number 9, A.J. Powell, and the 2-point conversion is no good. However, Willie Weathers gets 10 yards into the end zone and puts 6 on the board for the Clippers. With 7:08 left in quarter number 3, they trail, and we'll be right back in just a moment. Third quarter here from Haupt Field, home of the Clippers. Broadcast is brought to you by Rowan College of South Jersey at Gloucester. Become a Roadrunner today at the Premier Community College of New Jersey by visiting rcroadrunners.com for athlete recruiting. And then to become a Roadrunner, academically at least, visit rcsj.edu. Next fall session for accelerated courses starts on October the 6th. There's a view of the Haupt Field Arch. I believe it was erected well before the, before the renovations. Onside, it's bounced. Clayton's going to grab it. I think that's close. Clipper ball.
That's huge for the Clippers.
We called it.
Yup.
Onside kick number 2. It deflected off of either the helmet or the foot of an Overbrook returner on the front line, and Clippers will retain possession in their hopes for a long-winded comeback.
That's huge.
Just pointing out there was, again, a car at the top of the hill. There were two of them earlier. One of them went home. Maybe got an early bedtime or whatever, but I tell you, this is fun so far. And Clayton, oh boy. We talk about poking the bear. How about poking the boat? Oh, he got wrestled to the ground. That's a flag. I think that's either a face mask or I couldn't tell. I think that's whatever it is, it's not legal. Yeah, that's against Overbrook. That's number 5. I don't mean to beat it in. I don't mean to be rude, but that is the 5th 15-yard penalty against the Rams. And that just gave a huge break. I mean, he basically grabbed him by the neck that time on the defensive side, and you saw everybody react accordingly. Horse collar, yeah. I couldn't get the word out. I couldn't tell if he grabbed his face mask or if he grabbed his neck, and it was a horse collar. Here comes the rush. Williams wrestled to the ground. Big tackle that time by the Rams, number 6. DJ Lloydman.
I think the Clippers are starting to find their mojo.
The Clippers are angry. I think that's what it is that they went into that halftime break, and I saw them come back out of that halftime tunnel, and they were ticked. They were not happy. Now, whether that upsetness was instilled in them by Coach Chamberlain or whether it's self-inflicted or self-inspired, I don't know. But the Clippers look like a completely different ball club right now. Pitched back to Weathers. Left side. He's got some room. A flag comes in. This might be a hold that brings it back, but he's wrestled down at the 20-yard line. We'll see what conspires of this play. Yeah, this could be coming back. Holding on the offense. Yeah, that's tough. I mean, again, holding calls 10 yards from the spot of the foul. We'll see where they put this. That's going to be pretty far back, so this must have been an early hold. It's going to be, it's not as far as we thought. It's going to be at the 32. So it's a loss of 4. And again, with the high school holding rules, unlike the NFL's, you're going to have a rare 1st and 14. Man in motion. Weathers, another handoff that gets wrestled down, and another big break for Overbrook. It just seems like that Clayton's not really getting that momentum that they needed. It seems like they had all of it, and then that one penalty for the hold has really put a wrench into their plans here with 5 minutes left in quarter number 3. Still down by 2 scores, and, well, without a 2-point conversion, still down by a bunch. And they still got a long ways to go, but it's not out of the cards yet. Down by 16. Would need 2 touchdowns and notably 2 2-point conversions to tie this game. Another handoff broken up by Matt. Toss in front. Four minutes and counting. Quarter number 3. 3rd and 16. Still outside of the red zone at the 33. Hill drops back. He's got room. Sidearm pass. Deep. No. Walls had his back turned to the ball, and it's incomplete. Oh, boy. I don't think Walls knew that ball was coming to him. And, again, that's just a mistake you can't have. I understand as a team you're not used to passing the ball, but right now, got to be thinking that's what you were going for. I mean, if your walls, the closer you get to the end zone, got to have some kind of cadence between the quarterback and the receiver. Say, hey, this is when you got to turn. This is when you got to know the ball's coming to you. Because now that sets them up for 4th and 16. Still at the 33, but still got a ways to go. And Clayton's offense had a lot of momentum, but one penalty could have squashed it all. Hill, near side. It is intercepted by number 4, Courtney Hudson. And that interception will stand. The first one was called back for a roughing the passer, and Clayton with their 5th turnover of the game. That's a killer. Not a lot of time left in the third quarter. The fourth quarter is going to be a lot of clock management. And right now, just, again, 2 desperation shots. One was either overthrown or Walls had his head turned, and then that one intercepted in the end zone by Hudson. It'll be brought to the 20.
Yeah, and I don't know if I like that play call too much because you only got really one wide receiver going for the ball. Overbrook kind of knows where the ball's going, so it's a little bit easier for them to read the quarterback.
1st and 10, 20-yard line. Spinning is Bailey, and he is down. Overbrook for the road ahead for the Rams. Well, win would improve them to 4-2, but they've got, this is their first game of a 3-game road trip. They've got Clayton tonight, Camden Catholic on Friday, and then Saturday the 18th versus Audubon. And then they close out their home schedule with the season closer Friday the 24th of October versus West Deptford. Rush. Right side, Bailey with room, gets down at the 28. It'll be a gain of 8, and they'll get to 3rd and short. And then for Clayton, the loss would bring them to 4-2. They'd still be unbeaten in their division, which is going to be important because, I mean, just looking at the WJFL Royal standings, and a Clayton player on the defensive line is down. Looking at the Royal standings, Sterling is unbeaten, but they are being upset by Collingswood right now. So that is going to be a big shift if Sterling loses. Now, both teams are 4-0 in their division, and both Sterling and Collingswood and Clayton and Overbrook are playing non-division matchups tonight. So even with Overbrook at 5th out of 7 in their division right now, won't affect much. But as it stands, you know, again, both teams 4-0. A Sterling and Clayton game could definitely decide the division. That would be huge. But at this time, I mean, you know, we talk about Clayton down by 16 points. We'll check in on Sterling as we get a chance. If we can find an update on the game. I know I saw it somewhere. Collingswood did upset Sterling, so that's going to be huge for the Royal Division. 31-14 the final. Clayton is at 4-1, so with a loss they'd go to 4-2, and they'd tie with Pittman, which is also at 4-2. The rest of the standings, though, Gateway at 3-2. They play Woodbury tomorrow. Gloucester Catholic, Haddon Township, and Mastery Camden are 0-4. So it must be feeling nice to have 3 teams in your division that are winless. But I digress. 3rd and 4. Gain of 6 on the prior play on the rush by Bailey. Moore takes it, dives forward, and forward progress should be kind enough for a first down for the Rams. Well, they're setting up 4th down here. Didn't get as far as we thought. Interesting. This will be a punt. It'll be short. I imagine Frank Wilczynski probably not happy about it. They're going to try to get a quick snap off on this punt. With Rem back to return. High snap. Takes a while. A boot of a punt. He fair catches. And he would have been faced by number 23, Andrew Powell, but instead, Clayton gets the ball from their own 36. Yeah, I mean, I can't be mad at Clayton for not passing because it's unnatural to them. You know, again, we were just talking to Frank Rago at the halftime break, the Clayton boys basketball coach. It wouldn't be natural for him to run anything other than his normal offense. That's just how it is. So as it stands right now, it's what am I trying to say? It's Clayton shouldn't be asked to run a completely different offense because they're losing. The objective is to have an offense that works. And if you run into trouble, don't flip it on its head. Do the best with what you have. A rush up the middle does get up to the 44.
Ball spotted at the 44-yard line, brings up a second and short for Clayton.
Second and short. First down marker is at the 46. Hill, handoff, up the middle. He's got room and barreled forward. Almost ripped out of his shoes that time. It's a first down. They get across midfield as Williams takes a manhandling and gets himself up to the 45.
Brings up a new set of downs for Clayton. First and 10 at the Overbrook 46-yard line.
Under 40 seconds left in the third. Another rush. Couldn't tell. Oh, ball's out. Oh, no. Is this turnover number 6?
Another Clayton turnover.
Oh, my goodness. It's Javon Presley. That's brutal. Clock is still running here. Wait a second. Offense is still on the field. Yeah, no, this is Clayton's ball. Okay, so they hung on to it. Whew. That would have been a heartbreaker and might have been the final dagger in this game if it stood. Last play of the quarter, 8 seconds. He's got room. Diving forward. And the rush by Haven Walls is enough to get a first down and then some on second and short. He is up just outside of the red zone. The clock stops with 3.5 seconds. By the way, out-of-town scoreboard from Blackwood. It is Highland trailing Notre Dame 7-0. The Notre Dame of, I believe, Mercer County. We'll be covering them next week versus PVI, so we should definitely get our wits about them next week. So 3.5 seconds. This is not the last, or this will be the last play of the half. After we misquoted last time, William Weathers up the middle. And, man, what a topsy-turvy third quarter. 22-6 Overbrook. But Clayton, don't count them out. They just need a couple of good plays, and they'll be set. We'll be right back in just a moment. They're giving out Haupt Field T-shirts tonight in Clayton, and they're driving. Hand off left side on second and mid-range.
Number 9, Deron Williams on the carry, taking down by number 3, Andrew Powell.
Williams at the carry.
Ball spotted at the Overbrook 22-yard line.
They're at the 22. This will be interesting here for Clayton. I mean,
Brings up a 3rd and 4.
it goes without saying this is a do-or-die drive. I don't think that Overbrook will be able to get the ball back with a 2-score lead and relinquish it, because they're going to try to waste as much time as they want. They'll probably take 7 or 8 minutes off a drive. It's Williams. Room on his feet and in the end zone to Ron Williams. Clayton touchdown. Don't count them out yet, but they just rocked the boat here in the Boatyard. 1-score game if they get a 2-point conversion. If not, it's still 2 scores. So this 2-point conversion is going to be huge. A 22-yard rush by Deron Williams.
Looks like we might be seeing a repeat of a couple weeks ago game, Pennsville and Overbrook's game, where Overbrook came back by being down 22-0. So.
Yeah, it was 21-0.
Okay.
And it was 21-8 at the end of the first. It was 21-14 at the half, and by the end of the third, it was 22-21 in favor of Pennsville, or rather in favor of Overbrook. And now Overbrook might be getting a taste of their own medicine. Rush, Williams, wrapped up. It is good. Clayton, if your fans went to bed, if your fans left the grandstands, you might want to get back in your cars. You might want to turn back around and rescan your tickets. I mean, there's no re-entry, but if you can't, turn on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, because right now you're watching a good one. It's 22-14. Don't count them out yet. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere, because we've got 12 minutes, or now 11 and some change, of WJFL Group 1 football. That kick is caught on a dive by number 25, Damian Worrell. And Overbrook will recover at their own 40-ish in their own territory. Don't forget to tune in at 8 p.m. on Saturday night, October the 4th, for a rebroadcast of our DAWG Dog Pro Wrestling event at Rowan College of Burlington County. We produced a live stream for their YouTube page, but the 3-hour event, including appearances by Dog Wrestling Champion Vinny the Fixer, along with Tag Team Champions Primal Fear and much more, also with Tiffany Gray, the World Women's Grand Prix champion. The 3-hour event will be rebroadcast on Saturday, October 4th at 8 p.m. on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, and then it'll be available as an archive for anyone to view from RCBC. It was a fun event that we had yesterday on Thursday. And then on Sunday, October the 5th, tune in at noon, just an hour before the Eagles game starts, for a 1-hour special celebrating 4 years of Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, including interviews, different clips from all throughout DWB, and much more on Sunday, October the 5th. 10:27 left in quarter number 4. Moore commands Bailey in motion. Now he's got Moore. He's got Bailey to block, and he's going to get just shy of a first down if he didn't reach it. And the referee on the far side, the line judge, does say first down Rams. Clayton cannot afford to give up a score. I mean, that is going to be an absolute killer if Overbrook scores for all that Clayton has gone through to get back in this game. If they can't do it, I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, this is going to be a big day for a comeback. It's going to be difficult to tell how everybody's going to, exchange through these last couple of drives. By the way, Lower Cape May beat Egg Harbor Township 34-6 in Cape Atlantic action. Another rush up the middle, another gain of 9 or 10. It's going to be second and short here. Overbrook's they are moving way too quickly for Clayton to catch up, and that's going to be a big stop to Clayton's momentum. It's going to be a big stop to Clayton's, their momentum. They've already scored twice in this half after being down 22 in the first half. At the end of the first half, they were down 22-0. And now Clayton finally has some life. They don't want that taken away from them. Second and 8. 8-yard gain on the prior play. They send Bailey in motion. Moore, direct snap. He gets tackled. Looked like he got taken out from his feet that time. That was number 16, Christian Hill, the freshman, who gets the tackle that time. Young fella doing the job, and it'll be third and short.
Clayton's defensive line is doing a good job stopping the Overbrook rush. Their running game here in the fourth quarter.
They just need one more stop. I mean, fourth and short, they could obviously run it, but up by one score, you don't want to force a turnover on downs. You don't want to risk a turnover on downs.
I mean, I think they're moving very fast for being up.
They're moving quickly, almost quicker than I'd like to see. Bailey, he's going to break through. He's got a first down. Overbrook with a first down and one of many that they could use to put a dagger in this game. Clayton's band getting it on here. Always love coming to Clayton for the band. First and 10, 36-yard line. Moore, left side. He will get past the line of scrimmage. He'll get about 7 yards. Again, Tariq Moore. Moore and Bailey combining for so much today. This is going to be interesting to see. I mean, it's 2nd and 4.
You know, they're like peanut butter and jelly. They go hand in hand. You know, Moore gets a rush. Axel Bailey gets a rush. You know, they just go hand in hand.
I do love peanut butter and jelly. Here comes a rush up the middle. Tariq Moore. Bailey on his feet. Now finally hit out of bounds. And Clayton unable to make key stops at this time. It'll be a first down for the Rams. They're inside the red zone, and they are closer and closer to maybe, just maybe, putting this game away. It's 1st and 10. They're at the 19-yard line. 17, rather. So they got a bit further up that time, gain of 15. Bailey got behind the line of scrimmage. Now he gets hit a couple times. He's still on his feet. That's 3 times. That's 4 times. He's inbounds. He's taken down. I think it's short. Referee signaled for the clock to continue moving. But now the head judge is, or the referee rather, the head ref is signaling to restart the clock, get it moving again. They're 6:20 and counting. For Clayton, as we mentioned, they've got Sterling on Friday the 10th. That's going to be a huge game on the 10th. Then Paulsboro on the 25th on Saturday, close out the regular season, and then Pittman in their Thanksgiving game on the 27th. Timeout called by the Rams. 6:04 left in quarter number 4. They burn their first and the first timeout of the half. We'll take a quick break. 22-14 in favor of the Rams. (22-14), Overbrook over Clayton. What'll be a huge game for both teams in their respective divisions. It's a rush. Barrel down on 2nd and short. They're definitely going to have enough to drop the sticks here, make it 1st and goal. By the way, Triton hung on to a 28-21 win. We were talking about how it was 28-6. Well, Cherry Hill West got a lot of scores back, made it close. Mainland beat Ocean City 20-7. We talked about Collingswood beat Sterling 31-14 for Sterling's first loss of the year. Well, now Clayton's 4-game winning streak could be in jeopardy. Here comes Axel Bailey. It's a trio for the junior running back. He's got plenty of time under Frank Wilczynski, and he is now up to 11 rushing touchdowns on the year. It's his 3rd of the game, and the Rams have waltzed their way back to a 14-point game. It's now 28-14. And what was a back-and-forth contest in the 3rd quarter has now decidedly tipped in Overbrook's favor. Looking to make this would be a 16-point game, which was what it was prior. Bailey, it's more. He's close, and he's got it. 2-point conversion is good. It's 30-14. A 30-burger for the Rams, and they lead this thing here in quarter number 4, 5:28. We'll stay right here, but should note this broadcast is brought to you by our good friends over at Harper Driving School, right down the road from Clayton at Halp Field. Book an appointment today at Suite 4 of the Total Turf Complex in Pittman, 614 Lambs Road. This broadcast is also brought to you by Gray Fox Sports. Premier sports photography right in your backyard. Book Gray Fox today at grayfoxsports.net or on his Instagram. Same name, same handle, and same quality as well. Gray Fox Sports. Just talking about that arch. Renovated this field a few years ago. Was originally, if you look at this field on Apple Maps or Google Maps, it's a disheveled grass surface. But they redid it. They got turf. They got lights. And this field is just, it's fantastic. The concessions are great. The people are so nice down here. I mean, there's something about Gloucester County. People are so incredibly nice here. Pittman, Glassboro, Mullica Hill. Shout out Pittman. I was there last night. Had a lot of love from their student section. But Pittman, Clayton, Glassboro, Mullica Hill, Swedesboro, Washington Township, that whole area, everybody's just so nice. And I'm not saying I didn't get that back at home, but I'm saying that, that's going to be botched. Look out. Clayton will retain the ball at the 35, but again, I mean, there's something about Gloucester County. Maybe it's the rural land. Maybe it's the amount of people that live here, everybody just seems to know each other. That's what I love about Group 1. You know, I follow and I've spoken in great length with South Jersey Football Group 1. He does a great job highlighting the small schools. And, I mean, it's just so important to see these small schools highlighted. It's what the old cable companies used to do. JCEN, they've been uploading a whole bunch of archive content on YouTube. They covered the big schools. They covered the small schools. Didn't matter who you were. They treated everybody the same. There was no favoritism. I don't have favoritism. I'll cover... Oh, hold on here. I think Overbrook might have gotten that one. I think they might have just picked that one up for a fumble recovery. How about that? Overbrook on the first play of Clayton's drive, looking like they're going to take this one and run out of here with a win. Overbrook recovers. It's their second fumble recovery. And after Axel Bailey had 3 touchdowns already, he's going to add on to it with, or he could add on to it with a 4th. Man, I love it. By the way, Haddonfield over West Deptford, 22-14 at the moment in the 4th quarter. Still early in the 4th quarter at this time. Tariq Moore and friends back on offense. 5:24 left in the 4th. Remember, this game was a tie last year. So interesting to see Overbrook running away as they run to the far sideline, well inside the red zone for the carry by McQueen Futch. First down, Rams. They're at the 15. Another rush. Spinning is Moore. So Moore gets himself up within the 10-yard line. He's going to be right around it, it looks like. Just about 4.5 minutes left. Some of the Clayton fans filing out with this game looking like it could be in hand. Overbrook and Clayton, a little shoving there. A flag came in from the back.
Looks like the ref signaled the touchdown sign, but
it's an offensive hold, so it'll be coming back. Still second down. The player of the game has got to go to that gentleman right there, Axel Bailey. 3 touchdowns on the rushing side. And again, after this holding penalty, it'll get called back, but McQueen Futch would have had his first of the day. By the way, Washington Township scored 6 points in the second half. After a dominant first half, they beat Lenape 48-0. That was a game that was close last year. Pretty sure it was 35-26 Washington Township, but this year, no such close score in effect. Second and 13, Bailey. Rushing, still, he just cannot get down. This is incredible stuff from Axel Bailey. Got to be up to something like 200 rushing yards on the day. Got a man down, maybe. Looks like Clayton got a man down just outside of the end zone. Clayton's athletic trainer, Mrs. Sarah Campbell. Clayton led by head coach Frank Wilczynski, assisted by James Alber, Marcus DeShields, Tom Donnie, Nick Furlow, Jordan Johnson, Damon Matthews, Steve Mitchell, Jamie Otis, boys basketball head coach over at Overbrook, Devontae Parker, and Steve Wall. And then for Clayton, led by John Chamberlain, the Williamstown grad, assisted by Paul Flagg, Mark Sook, Doug Banks, Ron Gordon, Brandon Wright, Nick Shimkus, Phil Fisher, and Devin Banks.
Looks like the Clayton player over there that got injured is getting the attention he needs over there on the sideline.
Yeah, again, that's the athletic trainer Sarah Campbell coming out. And for Overbrook, I mean, this is a resounding victory, but there's got to be some kind of bad taste in your mouth if you're Frank Wilczynski, because of all the penalties. I mean, obviously they didn't come back to bite you, but I'm sure that a line that's recycled over and over again is, well, what if this happened versus this team, or what if this happened versus this team, and we lost the game, or whatnot. You know, they might say, oh, we have a big game versus Camden Catholic on Friday the 10th, or in 3 weeks' time they'll be facing West Deptford on Friday the 24th. Camden Catholic and Audubon are both winless this year at 0-4 for the Green Wave, 0-5 for the Irish of Camden Catholic, and then you're going to go from 2 winless teams to a complete 180 versus what is now a 5-0 West Deptford team that could be going 5-1, but still impressive records nonetheless, versus Overbrook to end the season. So you're going to be facing a shift in emotion. And this will be something to watch for Overbrook. Again, our second game that we've covered for them this year. It'll be fun to watch. 4:09 left in the fourth. First and goal. They're at the 4. On the doorstep of making this 36-14. Flags offside on the Clippers. This will be half the distance of the goal, which should make it first and goal from the 2. I don't know if it changes much.
Penalty is encroachment on the defense.
I mean, it doesn't matter when it is. Clayton just can't stay away from those flags, man.
Neither team can stay away from the flags. And Overbrook, if you took every other statistic out of the game, points, touchdowns, yards gained, you're going to find that you're going to look at this and say, well, Clayton probably won the game because Overbrook had so many penalties. But you'd be wrong, because Overbrook's had so many penalties, but they haven't had to pay for them. Like, they're just getting a lot of breaks. Overbrook has had 5 penalties tonight of 15 yards or more, including 2 face masks, a roughing the passer, I believe an unsportsmanlike conduct call, and a partridge in a pear tree. And we're going to have more here. But it does look like that Overbrook, touchdown, Rams. And they put the dagger on this one. It's going to be 36-14 in a game that was close for a long time. Clayton made it a 1-score game late in the third. And now it looks like that this is going to go in the wayside of the Rams. I mean, just huge stuff. Could be a 38-14, 24-point lead on the 2-point attempt by the Rams. Whistles on the 2-point. It's a false start.
Penalty is a false start against Overbrook.
So with 3:44 right now the time, Clayton will need a lot of miracles. They'd arguably need a kickoff return. By the way, Cherokee beat Shawnee in a huge rivalry and a huge win for the Cherokee Chiefs. Going back to pass, he's got a wide open man. It's the tight end, number 86, Nicholas Duval. And the 2-point conversion is good. It makes it 38-14 in favor of Overbrook. We'll take one more break. 3:44 left in regulation. It looks like Overbrook's got this one, but we'll be right back. 38-14, a 24-point lead for Overbrook as they look like they'll be improving to 4-2 on the season with a win. Just really impressive stuff overall from the Rams. It was a 22-14 one-score game. Looks like Clayton downed the short kick. It was down by Rem. If you're curious about this, listen, we have this thing called DWB Scoregami. And if you've never heard of Scoregami, it's an NFL thing where they try to put in as many unique scores as possible. First, like, for example, last week, Packers-Cowboys, Monday Night Football, ended in a tie, 40-40. Well, that was a scoregami because it had never happened before in NFL history. So I believe that 38-14 is not a scoregami. And I'll have to check. So, again, for those stat keepers out there, I know there's a lot of them. Mr. Metz out of Clayton, the Rider University guy. I mean, he's one of those stat keepers we talk about, but here we go. West Deptford over Salem in 2023 was 38-14. So I don't think I'm going to beat this scoregami thing into the ground all year, but something fun I like to do. Just like when you see DWB Stats posting about how often a team has appeared on the network, you know, their win-loss record, the last time they appeared. It's all for fun. Like, I'll be honest, Clayton doesn't have the best record on DWB. They're going to be 2-10 after tonight. Is that great? No, but we're still providing exposure to the kids, still allowing them to be recruited. And I think that that's what makes me feel pride as a broadcaster, is that, you know, we allow these kids to have the opportunities to get scouted. Because, yes, there's huddle footage out there in football. That footage might not be the same in baseball. I think, especially for baseball, the coaches tell us that, you know, a lot of our footage allows them to scout players if they can't have an in-person visit. This is going to be a first down for Deron Williams. He's going to get himself up to the 47. First down with 2:15 to play. Clock stops with 2:17. Again, Gateway Woodbury, Saturday morning, Saturday night, the rebroadcast of Dog Pro Wrestling, their event at Rowan College at Burlington County. Seeing if we have any final scores to come in afterward. We went over Thursday night scores, and we've been going over the rest of the slate tonight. Pitched back, Williams, or excuse me, it is, no, that is Deron Williams that time. He gets 5 yards. He's across midfield, and he's at the opposing 46. So we got a gain of 8 that time. Williams with another carry. Should be enough for a first with a minute left. Another rush that time. 31 seconds. This could be the last play of the game. Either way, though, Overbrook will be at 4-2. They're pulling their players off. They're going to line them up at the 50, and that's going to do it. Overbrook 38 and Clayton 14. Overbrook seems to be a good luck charm on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. They're 2-0 with our cameras rolling with a resounding 24-point win over the Clayton Clippers. What a night this was for Overbrook. What a night it was for Axel Bailey, your player of the game, picking up 3 rushing touchdowns. And in addition to that, just a strong night overall on the offensive side. Again, Overbrook, this was just such a weird game because they burned up so much yardage with useless penalties. And then at the end of the day, it didn't matter. So it's going to be a conflicted post-game speech. I'm sure they'll be happy they will win. But if you're Audubon, if you're Camden Catholic, 2 teams searching for their first win, if you can draw them into some penalties, if you can find a way to make things hot, make things interesting, might be a fun night for the Overbrook Rams as they improve to 4-2. Clayton falls to 4-2 on the season. They break a 4-game winning streak with this loss. They had 2 shutouts prior to Gloucester Catholic and Haddon Township, and then a forfeit 2-0 win over Mastery Camden. But we'll keep this short. We'll keep this sweet. Overbrook, 3-touchdown night from Axel Bailey. It's fun stuff. One of the Overbrook players started running the other way. Oh, that's fun. Overbrook's got to be happy, though, as they pick up a win after a big loss to Paulsboro. They had a big win 2 weeks ago versus Florence, 48-6. They lost by 10 to Paulsboro last week. Now they go into Clayton's house. They go into the beautiful Houck Field, and they fall. And they fall over Clayton, I guess you could say, 38-14. From our entire crew on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, our social media coordinator, Haley Mejia, our graphics crew, Gavin Van Rel, Caleb Lane, and Carson Rosso, our producer and color commentator, Ben Wilden. I'm Dan Wilkins. We'll see you tomorrow morning, bright and early, from the Woodbury Bowl. It's the Gateway Gators and the Woodbury Herd at 11 a.m. sharp in the Battle of Route 45. Have a good one, folks.